the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Yes, we are live here on Tuesday morning. What is today's date? April 11, 2023. I got to get my bearings together this morning, y'all. Man, I hope everybody's having a great day. Please, please, please hit the like button on your way in the building. This is the start, the beginning of a journey, a grind that I hope y'all take with me. It is time to give you endless, if that's a word, endless content. Your boy done got all the rest he needed. He done got the Easter weekend out the way with the family. Now it's time to go hard and break down this team and go deep diving into every facet of this team so that we can know what to truly expect next year. And we're going to try to do as much as we can before the draft so that we have a good picture on what is our draft strategy. What should our draft strategy be? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more, but please punch that like button on your way in the building. If you're new to the channel, please let your friends and family members know about TDPHINSTALK as well. We're over 28,000 subscribers. 24,000 subscribers. 24,800 and we're trying to get to 25,000, so less than 180 away. So again, let your friends and family members know about the channel. I know this is the off season, but every year so far we've gotten through it, and I've helped us get through it, and I'm gonna do my very best this year to help us get through the off season, especially since the excitement isn't as great due to the fact that we don't have the first round draft pick. But I promise you, there's still a lot of things to be excited about. And we'll see if this team as an overall does enough for the rest of the offseason to eliminate some of the hopefuls and make them more of shoe-ins so that we can feel a whole lot better about going into the season. All right, guys, today's topics at the top of the show is going to be Tua is preparing, Tyreek is retiring, and McDaniel tampering. We'll talk about it and more, all right? But listen, once again, hit that like button on your way in. C's007, I see you already in the building. Appreciate it. Horsey Head from the Bahamas. Jose M in the building. Dolphineer, Mr. 305 for real. Andres Negron. What's up, California? JNC 1417, a member in the house. That's what's up. D-Hug all day representing for the fam. That's what's up. Brandon R. I see all y'all up in here. Adam Sadowski. Salute to you, homie. Dolphins advocate Mariano. Been here for a long time, man. Love you, brother. But appreciate y'all tuning in. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. Right before we do, I just want to give you a kind of agenda of what you can expect going forward real quick. We still have to do player bios, but we're going to start those after the draft so that we can also go over the people that we drafted so we know what we have on the roster. That way, when we get into who's going to make the roster, who's not, we'll have a good idea of everybody, their contract situation, who's on the bubble, who's fighting for the team, all that good stuff. Also, we have to finish the quarterback tiers. We'll finish that this week. But we have to go heavy for the rest of the week and next week talking about the draft, what it means, the implications for the Dolphins, what are the key positions that you want to attack, and what the strategy should be. So that's what we'll be handling in the near future, with a few collaborations and guest appearances. So stay tuned for that as well. Canes Dolphins 89, good morning to you as well and everyone. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the main topics of the stream. What's up, T Rich? I see you in the building. We got 150 people watching. We should at least have 100 likes. So go ahead and hit that like button. All right, let's get started. So Tua is preparing, ladies and gentlemen. Over the weekend, right before the weekend hit, they released some, photos and videos of Tua working with the guys, the receivers, and things of that nature. Love to see it as always. You always want to see those guys get together, putting that work in early. The timing is going to be important. Making sure guys are in their spots, making sure that, they continue the camaraderie where they left off last year. I mean, if it could be better than last year, that's going to be insane, y'all. I mean, it's going to be nasty, but we'll wait to see how that transform. But a lot of people had a lot to say about Tua's look, his body. He looks a lot more bulkier. A lot of people translating the bulk, whether it's bulk or if it's, weight, gain or whatever it may be. I have to be honest with you. I don't care what it is. I just personally feel like more muscle or more weight could help him be a lot more absorbent of contact. So I really don't care what it is. I know some people say, well, he's losing speed. Tua never was running like that anyway. So it's not a big deal. But I'm all for putting on some more cushion, whether it be muscle or weight. Because at the end of the day, we all know that we're going to need Tua to play a full season so that we can really get a true gauge of who he is as an NFL player, who he is as a Miami Dolphin, and how good can he be. Because we've already experienced 3 seasons of incomplete. We can make our assumptions. We can make our own little conclusions out of them. I got mine, people got theirs. But at the end of the day, until we see this man on the field for 16, 17 games, we all speculating. We're all, hopeful or doubtful about what he can do. because the sample size is never great enough. And then even if the sample size isn't great enough, the full set, even if it's a 12-game sample size, the full 12 games isn't one way or another. It's both. So at the end of the day, we're going to need a full season and whatever it takes to get to that point. Now, y'all know me, I'm a little upset as it is because I like the fact that we're putting on weight and things like that, or muscle, to be prepared for the rigors of the season, but I'm still a little upset about the O-line. I want to leave it up to no doubt. I don't want to have any wishy-washy. Yeah, he didn't get concussions, he didn't get banged up as much, but he got abused taking hits all day and stuff like that. I don't want that. So I'm like very anxious about the O-line, that hopefully they find out if they have what they have. And if they do, okay, we'll just have to go in blind and hope that it works out. And if they don't make a move, don't play around, make a move. But again, Tua preparing to be able to make it to the playoffs and to be able to play through the season long term, that's always a great thing. Whatever his plan is, I hope he just continues to work it hard, build that body. And I hope that it's the same body that, or bigger, that he ends up in training camp. Because we've seen this last year, and by the time training camp, after training camp, it's kind of gone down to back to normal of what we're used to. So I just hope their plan is consistent and they have them ready to stay on that field. We need them on the field. We need them on the field for many reasons, okay? So good luck preparing. Good work. I'm glad he got with the fellas, and I hope they keep doing it. Next month is OTA, so we'll see where it goes from there, all right? Tyreek retiring. I never gave y'all my thoughts on him coming out talking about in 2025 that he's retiring. I never talked to y'all about that. I was upset about it. I never even talked to y'all about this. It's just something that I kept to myself, but I was upset about Tyreek coming out saying that he was going to retire in 2025 for multiple reasons. So please give me an opportunity to explain. Let's keep it real, y'all. We've been over Tyreek Hill's contract before. Okay. And matter of fact, I want to do this a lot more because I talk about a lot of stuff that I don't show y'all myself. So I'm going to start putting things on the screen in relation to what I'm actually talking about. Okay. So you'll have a great understanding of not just my words, but you'll see the visuals behind the things that I say. So here we go. Let me share my screen and put this up. Yeah, I'm very unhappy about Tyreek coming out saying what he said about retiring. And here we go. Let me break it down for y'all, okay? All right, so if you take a look at the screen, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is Tyreek Hill's contract. Here's why I'm upset. Because Tyreek Hill had $52 million guaranteed, $72 million total guarantees, right? In 2022, he played the first year of the contract. We did a restructure. That's why the dead cap went up. If y'all notice that, the dead cap actually increased because we did the restructure this year. And I hate that. The more you restructure, that dead cap keep going up for later on. But we're still in a place where we can live. We can live, okay? 2023 comes this year. He's almost a $13 million cap hit, right? Next year, he's a $31 million cap hit. Now, the reason why I'm aggravated with him saying that he's going to retire in 2025, let me get that straight. After 2025 is because the Miami Dolphins' potential out on him is 2024. After 2024, we can move on. We'll have 22 million dead cap, but we'll also have those 2 years to spread it out at 11.8 each, which they'll have to make a decision whether they want to do or not. The reason why that bothers me is because say that the Miami Dolphins are cap stricken, right? Say next year we draft the wide receiver and he's a dog and we're ready to move on from Tyreek's contract because it's hard for us, like the Buffalo Bills, right? They're at a point now, Josh Allen's getting his money. They're like, we can't really bring no great talent in at this point. We'll have to get rid of a great player just to bring in, another, if we get to that point. And we're ready to move on from Tyreek Hill. He get injured or whatever it may be. The frustrating part for him to go out there and tell people he's retiring after 2025, what if a team wants to trade for him in 2024? And they want to keep him for a few years for their young quarterback or something. Him coming out saying that he wants to retire in 2025 really nixes that. He really basically is telling the Dolphins, he's basically making it harder for the Dolphins if they wanted to move on from him after 2024. And he wants to guarantee that he gets that 2025 pay. This is what people need to understand. Tyreek Hill wants to guarantee that he gets that 2025 pay. That is the one thing he certainly wants to do. Guarantee that he gets that 2025 pay. Because it'll take him more than the guarantees that he had. It will give him more than the guarantees. So just so you know, you see this yearly cash on the right side? That's all the money right there that we owed him. But if he plays 2025, he's getting a lot more. He's worked his way up to about $96 million. He's getting more of the guarantees. So that's why I didn't like it. I felt like it shouldn't have been a public thing, at least not right now, that he plans to retire at that time, because it could really hurt us from potentially trading him after the 24 season. Because it's Tyreek Hill, y'all. Wouldn't you want to try to get some assets for him before you let him go? Before you move on from him? You would want to get something, even if it's a 4th round pick, a 3rd round pick. You want to try to get something. But if I'm Tyreek Hill, this is the genius chess move, because now you're making it harder for the Dolphins to not have you in 2025. Because a lot of teams ain't going to give up draft capital for a guy who's going to retire after one season. T. Rich said he was retiring after 2024, right? No, 2025. 2025. So if Tyreek Hill, this is what we need to come to realize. If Tyreek Hill plays in 2025, let me tell y'all the frustrating part about it. I want y'all to look at these cap numbers, okay? So you see the cap hit, right? But look at the dead cap. Next year, we're going to be scrambling for more money. Tyreek's going to be $31 million, and the Dolphins likely will restructure his contract yet again, which will increase the dead cap number again, giving him more guarantees and locking in the 25 season. But at that rate, he will play for us in 2025. And this isn't a bad thing as long as he's, continuing to play at a high level. But when you get into cap hit numbers of 34 million, and if he restructures again next year, that number could easily be 38 or 40. You're going to have to eat that whole season. And this is why you haven't heard much about the Christian Wilkins deal, ladies and gentlemen. And I am so hopeful that any day now we get breaking news. The Miami Dolphins signed Christian Wilkins on a contract extension. I am so hopeful that any day now that we get that. But the reality is, it's taking some time for a reason. And when you look at guys like Tyreek Hill's contract, it's a perfect reason why. The Dolphins ain't got the money that people think they have for the next 3 years. They don't. The team does not have the money they think they have for the next 3 years. Some people will look at 3 years from now and be like, no, look at all this cap space 3 years from now. Yeah, but that doesn't even have Waddle under contract on there. That doesn't even have Christian Wilkins under contract on there. It doesn't even have Tua under contract on there. It doesn't have a lot of guys under contract that once you plug theirs in, we're beyond over. This is why the Christian Wilkins situation is going to be very fragile. And somebody just got their money. Somebody at the defensive tackle position, I think in Tennessee, Simmons just got his money, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up. Woo! Here you have it. They haven't even put the terms in yet. All they have is the 5th-year option in, just like Christian Wilkins. But he has a 4-year, $94 million. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to do the math, that is pretty much, if you divide it by 4, that's $23.5 million each year with $66 million guaranteed, which basically he got 3 years guaranteed, 24, 25, and 26. Christian Wilkins, I believe, is going after $20 million per year. Now, he could be going for more than that, but I know that Simmons is a better player. Unless y'all disagree. But I believe Simmons is the better player and he's worth more. But Christian Wilkins, I believe, is going after $20 million per year. And now I want to see if the Miami Dolphins are going to play that game. If they are going to sign him on $20 million a year. JNC, how much do you think he's going to get per year? Somebody said word on the street, Greer looking for more draft picks. Of course he is, because he ain't got none. But I want y'all to think about this. When you look for more draft picks, you can only do it in 2 ways. Way number 1, you got to trade a player, and ain't many players on this roster tradable. There ain't many players on this roster tradable unless you're trading Christian Wilkins. Unless you're trading Christian Wilkins. But the other way of trading is to take the draft picks you got and flip them. Take your 2nd round pick and go get 2/3. But, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But let me get back to Christian Wilkins. This Christian Wilkins debacle will be interesting. You know why? Because right behind Christian Wilkins, you got the agent saying Zeiler needs his money. We just want Zach Zeiler, whatever. If I got it wrong, get over it. We just want his money to match his production. And what I'm trying to tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen, his production ain't even far off from Christian Wilkins. Now, mind you, he's not a former 1st-round pick, and the Dolphins will have some leverage there. But if Zeiler's agent doesn't get him at least 14, 15 million a year, he ain't got the right agent. And the only reason you concede him from the 20 is because of where you were drafted. And unfortunately, that's just how it works sometimes, y'all. It shouldn't matter to me. It shouldn't matter, but it does. But yeah. You're not, I mean, what, you're gonna pay Christian 20 and give Zyler 15 and have 35 just on the interior of the line? It just go look at our books. It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. And the frustrating part is you can't give a 2-year deal because you already hung strung on next 2 years. You definitely want a multi-year deal so that you can play around with the numbers. Like, look at OBJ, 15 million up to 18 million. It's 1-year contract. They can't even play with the numbers. Just a straight up cap hit. Can't manipulate it or nothing. Nate said he's not getting 15. Maybe not Nate, but if I'm his agent, that's what I'm at least going after. See, put it in the comment section. What do you think Christian Wilkins is getting? What do you think Christian Wilkins is getting? Yeah, it's hamstrung. Appreciate that, man. I be slipping sometimes. Put it in the comment section. What do you think Christian Wilkins is getting? I can't believe somebody just put 10 and 13. That would be big time embarrassing. 18, 14 to 16. All of these are interesting, guys. All of these numbers y'all throwing are interesting. Very interesting. The most I would pay 19, if not trade him. Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to pull something up here. $18. His contract might break the bank. Boy, if they paid him $10 million, that would be disrespectful. Hey, I don't care if it's disrespectful. If they can get that, then hey, it is what it ain't. Listen, it ain't disrespectful if he sign it. I get what you're saying, though. Trust me, but it ain't disrespectful if he sign it. It is what it is, right? I'll take that money. Give me a second. All right, let me see. Here we go. And maybe there is some hope though. Because you look at guys like maybe there's some hope because Jeffrey Simmons' projection was 26 million and he got 23 and a half. So maybe there's some hope. Maybe there's some hope. He got less than his projection. And again, his projection was 26 million. And he got 23 and a half. And right now they have Christian Wilkins' projection. Yeah, give me a moment. It got to load. I don't know what's taking so long with this. All right, here we go. All right, Christian Wilkins, same 5th-year option. We need to learn off our mistakes. And what the heck? You drawing the wrong attention to the film's tampering? Really? LOL. No, I don't think it was. It's just funny that somebody made that a headline. Give me one moment. I don't know what's up with my system right now. I don't think anyone will give 2 firsts for him. Christian Wilkins, we'll talk about the trade value in just a second. But it's not 2 first-round picks for sure. But we're definitely going to talk about it. So Christian Wilkins' value right now on Spotrac, they have him at 15.3 million. Okay. If we can get away with that, that'll be a huge win. But I think that I'm telling y'all now, man, I know Chris Greer. You cannot tell me Emmanuel Ogbah is more valuable than Christian Wilkins. You can't. You cannot tell me Emmanuel Ogbah is more valuable than Christian Wilkins. And what do you think Christian Wilkins' agent is doing when the Dolphins gave Ogbah $16.3 million a year on a 4-year contract? What you think Christian Wilkins' agent is saying to the Dolphins? You gave Ogbah $16 million. Just saying. So I'm gonna pull that up, by the way. Zeller. I'm gonna pull him up because we got 2 guys that need their money on this team. And I know Zealer's value will probably be something, they'll disrespect him because of his status. He'll be something like 7 million or something. But let me look. It's coming up now. No, well, they got Zealer at 10 million a year. They say his market value is a 3-year, $30 million contract. All projections, though. Jay say let Ogbah and Wilkins go. Well, you can't let Ogbah go. You gave him the guaranteed money. You're in trouble. You stuck with him, and he's not tradable right now. Unless you're gonna eat some major dead cap because you built the contract terrible. The man makes $17 million this year, and he's a $21 million dead cap hit. And now, if they wanted to cut Ogbah and let him go, they can have $7 million dead cap for the next 3 years. And that'll save them some money. It'll give them $10 million in cap space this year. But then, if you do get rid of Ogbah, right, you have no depth at the DN position. You have no depth at the DN position. This is the issue with this team. It's the way it's constructed is just weird with these contracts. Like, we made a lot of mistakes. We gambled and did not hit a lot. A lot. So, a lot of people, somebody said sign Melvin Ingram back for depth. That's an option. I mean, but we're no longer, remember, this is on Fangio's system. It has to be the guys that fit in what he's trying to do. Now, somebody said this to me recently, and they made a great point, and I want to talk about it real quick. They said, well, TD, you do a good job telling us, where we're, slipping as a team and things of that nature. And they said, when I really look at the things you say, I know a lot of people say they may be negative, but I've been actually keeping up with all the things that you've been saying. And it's just crazy that all this quote unquote negative that you talk about comes true. They come true. He said, but if you could help me out going forward, don't just leave it there. Tell us what we need to do or what you would do that would potentially alleviate these issues. So that's what I'm about to do with this situation, with these players. What would I do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'm going to be honest with you. Emmanuel Ogbah, I don't like him for the Dolphins. He made a lot of good plays. He made some good moves. Shout out to Engraving in the building, the homie in here. He said, "Man, congrats, CD. I was just watching your first video that you posted, and just to see the growth, it's special, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Been doing, my guy. Appreciate it, man. Love you. I found it this morning, Engraving. I said, let me post this. May 22nd, 2018. So May 22nd is the anniversary. So I got a month and 11 days before I hit my 5-year mark. That first video was May 22nd, and it was titled Miami Dolphins 2018-2019, Let the Winning Begin. Back in the delusional days, you hear me talking about I'm a believer in Tannehill and everything in that video. Anyway, man, let me get back to this, man. Let me get back to it. Appreciate you stopping through, homie. And it's always love, man. And I'm very interested to see how y'all's situation end up in Baltimore with the Lamar thing. We'll see. But yeah, what would I do, y'all, if I'm the Dolphins right now? If I'm the general manager of the Miami Dolphins, I know that we're taking this stance that we're going for broke, right? But right now, if I'm the general manager, I'm getting some stuff back. I have to get some stuff back, y'all. I have to prepare for our future just in case this doesn't work out. I want to be in a position where I can pivot right away. So what does that entail? What would I do if I was the general manager right now? First and foremost, I would put Emmanuel Ogbah on the trade block. Not only would I put him on the trade block, I will also offer to pay some of his salary. I'll restructure his deal, give him a little signing bonus up front, makes the cap situation better for the team that he'll be going to, and I'll try to acquire myself something like a 5th-round pick. Another draft pick, like Greer's looking for more now, right? I'm going ahead. I'm going to re-sign Zeeler. I'm going to go ahead and give him a deal because it's not going to cost as much as Christian Wilkins. Because I'm gonna be quite honest with you, he is the good enough player in that middle to where he can hold it down for years to come. He has played great football for the Miami Dolphins and hasn't fell off one bit. All right. Next thing that I'm doing is, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have to Laramie Tunsil this thing. Now, I'm not going to get a Laramie Tunsil haul, but I got to Laramie Tunsil this thing, and I'm trading Christian Wilkins. I am going to get a 1st-round pick and a 5th-round pick for Christian Wilkins, somewhere in that range. I'm going to be back in the 1st round this year. And that pick will be somewhere in the 20s probably. I'm going to be back in the 1st round this year. And I'm going to get a 5th-round pick. But I'm also saving money. Ogbah just saved me $17 million. Christian Wilkins just saved me $10 million because the team he going to going to assume it. That's $27 million, 2 5th-round picks, and a 1st-round pick. Let me say that again. That is $27 million in savings that I got in my pocket right now. Not to mention Byron's that'll be here later. That's 43 when you add Byron's. That's 43 million, a 1st-round pick, and 2 5ths. Now, I'm taking Jerome Baker. I'm trading him and hoping I can get a 5th-round pick. And I'm going ahead and saving that $11-12 million. I'm saving that $11 and $12 million. I got $55 million, 3 fifth-round picks, and a first-round pick. And let's pause for a second real quick because I want to see the damage that I've already done. Jerome Baker, if he was gone, it ain't going to be a big loss, ladies and gentlemen. You just brought in a better player, whether you know that or not. If he can stay healthy, of course. You just brought in a better linebacker this offseason. You got more help in the secondary with Jalen Ramsey. It's not a major loss. Somebody says, so blow up the roster this late for what reason? I'm not even blowing the roster up. I haven't impacted nothing on offense. Same offense. And what have I truly impacted on defense? All I did is got rid of Ogbah, who looked like he washed anyway. People keep forgetting that before Ogbah got hurt last year, not to mention he got hurt. He coming off of an injury, but the 9 games he played, he was terrible. Are we forgetting that Ogbah was terrible in them first 9 games? He had like 2 sacks in 9 games, more than half the season. Are we forgetting that? You're not blowing the roster up. These are guys who we messed up. He wasn't injured the whole season, man. Stop that. He was playing like a bum. Then he got hurt. And he went like 2 games trying to play through it. Then he was done. It doesn't even matter to me. Clear overpay and mess up. Move on. Move on. I mean, you just got, I mean, in gosh, you literally just got Chubb. So this thought process of blowing up the roster, no, you're not seeing what I'm doing. The only casualty here is Christian Wilkins, but I'm sorry, it's a necessary one because we don't have any contingency plans, y'all. We don't have any contingency plans for the future. And what a lot of y'all, the conversation you don't want to have is the fact that what if we win 7 games this year? You stuck going into war with the exact same team the year after. If you go look at the way these contracts lined up, for 2 years, you stuck with most of these guys except the ones that I'm mentioning now. How would you feel if you win 7 games this year knowing you stuck with the same roster the next year? The draft ain't going to just make it, just going to change you from 7 to 12 like that. Somebody says screw contingency. I understand that, but we can afford to have both. And wouldn't that be the smart thing to do? Anyway, back to why I would do what I'm doing. So Christian Wilkins is a necessary evil. I mean, it's an evil thing to try to move on from him. I agree. But it's a necessary. Because he's the guy who can salvage everything if it doesn't go right. Now, let's talk. What am I doing with those 3 fifth-round picks and the first-round pick? First and foremost, I'm taking that first-round pick and I'm trying to flip it for two seconds immediately. I'm trying to flip it for 2 second-round picks. Because I'd rather go into this draft with 3 second-round picks because we already got 1. 3 second-round picks than that 1 first. Because I don't want Chris Greer to screw up and get another Austin Jackson. I want him to have as many at-bats as he can. I want to go into it with 3 second-round picks and all them 5th-round picks. Because we need to gather a force of young players that we can work out and see who could start replacing some of these guys 2 and 3 years from now. What we don't realize as Dolphin fans a lot of times is how many people we actually going to have to replace in 3 years. You got to replace Tyreek Hill. Because remember, you want to get great talent at the position, because if you were to replace it for less, this team ain't going to never be the same. Now, we're going to have to replace some positions for less because it's hard to find an Armstead. It's hard to find a Tyreek. But still, if you can get a good player, remember, these are the players we got to replace. You got to replace Tyreek Hill. You got to replace Teron Armstead. This is 3 years from now. 2 years technically to bring him in. You got to replace Xavier Howard. You got to replace Jalen Ramsey. Y'all see where I'm going with this? That's 4 big-time players right there that you will have to replace. That doesn't just come at that's an easy replacement. These are some of the best at their position in the league. It's rare to even land a guy at the positions. But you got to replace those guys. Those are 4 heavy hitters that you got to replace. Because the truth of the matter is, X in his prime, you have a slim to none chance of replacing him with the same productivity. You just feel good that you got a good corner. Jalen Ramsey in his prime, you have a slim to none chance of replacing him. You just hope that you get a good player to replace him. It's like you hope to get a Javon Holland in comparison to a Jalen Ramsey. You see what I'm saying? Ramsey, certified. Holland, really good player. But he ain't Ramsey. I know it's different positions, but I'm just giving you the equivalence of status. So although you replace them, you also have to recognize you don't have a superstar that's just as good. It's not likely that you will. You might, but it's not likely. Teron Armstead, not likely his replacement will be as good. We've experienced that. Tyreek Hill, it's a strong possibility that his replacement won't be as good. Not only do you have to replace those 4 guys, but you got to pay the guys that are already here as well. I really wish that people had a better understanding of salary cap and understand that it's a revolving door. And one of the issues that the Miami Dolphins will have in 2 years, nobody recognized it then, nor do they recognize it now. But one of the main issues that we have is that we had a roster full of young players the last 2 years. Now, every single one of those young players that end up being a good player has to get paid. We don't realize we're strapped in cap right now where the young players aren't getting paid and the veterans are getting paid, but we have a lot of young players that need to get paid while the veterans are still here. That's the issue. It ain't like these young players are replacing the veterans. No, the young players for the next 2 to 3 years will still be here with the veterans, but the young players got to get paid. Courtney said, I thought we were all in, right? Well, Courtney, if we were all in, we'd have 2 legitimate old linemen at left guard and right tackle right now. Mike said, you talking about every roster in the NFL right now. Well, Mike, that's not true. A lot of these rosters are built different. I understand your general sense that that's how the rosters work, young players and veterans. But we have more young players than most teams because we had more first-round picks than most teams in the last 3 years. Our ratio is a little bit more flipped than the normal team. Look at the Super Bowl caliber teams. Look at these teams. See, we don't pay attention to some of these teams where the average age be like 28. And when you look at the Dolphins, it'd be like 26. That is a major difference. When you got a team stacked with veterans, like there's some defenses that have 8 veterans on it. They have 8 veterans on it. My bad. Let me turn my ringer off. But go look at our defense. Same thing with offense. The ratio is off. We have more young players that eventually will need to get paid. So, in the grand scheme of things, you're right. Almost every roster's like that, but they aren't built the same in key positions. How many teams in the NFL have corners making the money we making? Tell me a tandem of corners in the NFL that's making over $30 million. We have some things that most don't have. We have luxuries right now that we will not be able to afford long term. And that's just the reality. And the way the contracts are built now, Ramsey and X will be exiting around the same time. And imagine you entering into the world where you got to replace both of them, or you replace one and keep dealing with the old version of the other one. Example, Rashad Jones. Y'all remember Rashad Jones, right? Remember, we gave him the deal and we kept dealing with the old version of him year after year after year, right? Do y'all remember that? We are number 2 for highest paid DBs. Eagles number 1. I'm curious about the Eagles. Are their DBs younger or older than ours? I don't even know. But are their DBs older or younger? We're doing it now with X. I know. Rashad was still alive late in his career. Are you kidding me? Rashad was hurt all the time. He started to be a gambler on the field. Y'all must have forgot. When I first started this channel, Rashad Jones was still there. I'll never forget when we called Lamar Jackson a running back and he came and put 5 touchdowns on us throwing the ball. And I'll never forget Rashad Jones gambling, blitzing, because I remember he was getting fussed at on the sideline. I remember him coming to the line of scrimmage and he gambled blitzing. And right where he was supposed to be, a wide open receiver, and Lamar hit him. Touchdown. Rashad Jones kept getting hurt. And then the rare times he was on the field, he was a freelancer. He ain't care no more. I'm just saying, man, maybe y'all see it differently, but I remember that very well. But anyway, my whole point of the matter is, we got 2 corners that may need to be replaced at the same time. And like I said, if you don't replace them both at the same time, that means you're probably going to be holding on to one of them when they ain't the same. And we're going to go back into that Sean Smith, Vontae Davis era. Y'all remember that? Where the real Dolphin fans at? Y'all remember that? When we needed corners bad and then we drafted Sean Smith and Vontae Davis? You remember that? The problem is all of these guys are exiting at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. Teron Armstead, at max, he got 2 more years. At max, in my opinion. Ramsey and X, same thing in my opinion. 2 more years. Tyreek just told you he got 2 to 3. See, you'll have to replace all of them around the same time. And what is the likelihood of doing that? Well, you develop in the draft. Well, guess what? This year in the draft, with that second round pick, we probably ain't gonna address not a single one of them positions. I doubt they get a corner. And then you getting it in the second round. I doubt you get a left tackle in the second round. Talk about that's your future. That's another thing. I'm going to switch gears here real quick. A lot of people saying, the offseason ain't over. We still got the draft. They might address the right tackle position in the draft. Why we play so much? Why we always playing around like this? Do y'all want to spend y'all second round pick and a late second rounder, might I add? Let's make sure we get that clear. A late second rounder. Do y'all want to put your late second round pick on a right tackle? You got better valued defensive tackles. You got better valued guards. You got better value linebackers. Better value tight ends for that pick. The best of the best tackles are going in the first round. Everybody going to invest in a tackle if you're a top one. And we talk about late second round, man, if the Dolphins don't get a tight end, a linebacker, maybe a guard, by the way, that's the least on there. But a tight end, a linebacker, a guard, if they don't get one of them 3, then they tripping. They tripping. Because what y'all need to understand is getting a tackle in where we're picking is like a 3rd level tackle. You see what I mean? Because tackle's going to be going off the board. Now, you may say, hey, man, I like this receiver here or this receiver there. You might get a steal on a receiver or a running back, but see, I don't think they're going to go running back in the second round, because if you go running back in the second round, that guy has to play. That guy has to be prepped to be your guy now. And you done gave all these committee guys their deals. I don't care if you end up cutting the 3rd or 4th guy, but Wilson and Mostert, you backseating them now? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm good, PJ. Just a little skeptical about that. Here I am talking about the draft and stuff. We'll get more into it. Pro Bowl right tackle at that. That's what I would do. Like I said, I would trade Christian Wilkins. I would take those draft assets. And I honestly would take all my draft capital and push it off to next year, y'all. If I was Chris Greer, I'm taking every bit of my draft capital and I'm pushing it to next year. I'm going to be honest with y'all. With the roster that we have now, I would take all my draft capital and push it to next year. Because here's the thing that bothers me about this draft. Looking at the draft picks we have now, you never know, a 7th rounder can come in and start because they just so good all of a sudden, right? But how much will this draft class help us this year? How much will the draft picks that we make this year truly help us? How much will they help us? And you can get better picks next year. If I take my 2nd this year and I swap with somebody and get an additional 5th, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to move my 2nd round pick to next year. I got a chance for that pick to be even better next year. And I pick up an additional 5th or something like that. Same thing with those 3rd round picks. I'm going to pick up the additional late round picks and swap for a pick next year. I'm moving my 2nd to next year and my 3rd to next year, and I'm keeping the additional 5th and 6th round picks that I acquire from making those trades this year. I'm telling y'all, if it was me this year, I wouldn't pick in nothing but the 5th and 6th round, and I'll make sure I got like 6 of those picks. I'll pick in the 5th and 6th and 7th round. And I'm going to get a whole bunch of players at certain positions and I'm going to load them with talent that I want to see if we could develop. At what point will we put our roster? At what point do we put the onus on developing players? It is our job to develop a 5th, 6th, and 7th round pick. To either make them a good backup or be shocked and make them a, low-end starter. I'm telling you. Because like I said, whoever we draft this year do y'all think any of them will start? Yes or no in the comment section. Do you think any of our draft picks this year are going to start? Maybe only a kicker. Tua causes us to take gambles on players instead of building the team right. This is the path we're going, so we just got to figure out how to take those gambles appropriately. Cloud Life said, yes, I do. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Now you got to go down the road of saying, where would they start? Like, you got player, whoever we picked up in this draft, where they going to start? I don't think you could say tight end because you got guys who already know the system, who just got an extension. They'll be depth just like Hunter Long. Guard, maybe they can come in and fight for the position and win it. That's a possibility. Maybe we find our next Robert Hunt. The only place I see that somebody can come in and start on this team is at the left guard position. That is it. That is it. The only position that we could draft that I feel like could come and start day one is left guard. Why y'all keep saying right guard? That's where Hunt is. Make sure I ain't got my bearings wrong. Robert Hunt at right guard. I don't think tight end, y'all, because first of all, you got to learn the system. You got to know the system. And we got some guys that they just re-signed on an extension that already know the system. Now, you could end up being better than them, and you can eventually get a role, but I don't think a tight end is going to come in and just take the job. Now, it's open. It's open. If they're a dog and they're great or they good, okay. But first thing first, it ain't going to matter how good of a tight end you are. It's going to matter how good of a blocker you are as a tight end. That's what's going to matter. Not how much of a weapon you are, because if you are an ultimate weapon and you can block, you're gone in the first round because it's rare at that position. Or early second. Yeah. This draft, I would take I'm gonna take my second, my third, and my fourth round picks, and I'm putting those boys the next year, and then I'm picking up later round picks. And I'm telling Fangio, hey, look at these 3 corners that we drafted. Look at these 3 linebackers we drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. Hey, if you can turn these 6 players into 2, thank you. If you can get me 2 really good backups out of this, that's a win for us. Or something. Give me 1 starter and a backup. Are we ever going to rely on player development? Are we ever going to rely on player development? That's the only way you get out of this funk. And when I say funk, having to spend all the money to bring players in versus developing them at a lower price. You're supposed to be able to take a 5th round pick, and in 3 years, that 5th round pick ain't elite. They ain't great. They're good. And you're supposed to, instead of giving them what the top players at the position get, $20 million a year, you're supposed to sign them on like an $8 million a year for 4-year contract where you're paying them $32 million. And then the next 2 years, they become really good, even if they never get elite. They still growing. Player development, and you get it at a cheaper price. 1/3 of just paying for a solidified player at the position. When are we ever going to put the onus on developing players? It's a shame when you got a 53-man roster and you can't count more than 5 players you technically developed. And I'm not sitting here talking about no first round pick that came in, wasn't great, but they got better. They were already expected to get better. It's a first round freaking pick. Anything less than being better is a failure. Anything more than that is what they supposed to be. Unless they winning MVPs, then that's different. When are we ever going to do that? When are we going to have more than 5 players on the roster that we developed, where you saw their bottom and you saw at least 2 to 3 years of progression on it? Nick Needham, that's one of them. Van Ginkels of the world, that's another. Stop saying Kohu, the man done played 1 year with us. You don't know what he is. Brandon Jones, no. Brandon Jones is right on pace of what he should be. You actually would want, like, hope for more. Break into that next realm. See, that's what player development is. You take a 2nd round pick and make people think, hey, he should have been the 1st round. Remember, player development takes more than just 1 year of improvement. The magic number is 3 for you to say, yeah, he was developed from scratch. Nick Needham is an example of that. You remember when he came in that rookie year, was getting burnt every week, and by the end of the season, he was making plays. But the overall season ain't nothing to be all proud of, but he deserved to come and compete in camp next year. Then in camp, he balled out, and that season he played 7 out of 10 football. And you was like, man, hey, that's nice for an undrafted player. And then ever since then, he's been playing really nice football. Whether he fluctuate between 6 and 8, but he's staying right there. When he came in as a 3, that's player development. Not a guy you pick up and right away he balling out and you're like, oh, we got something here. That's talent acquisition. Now, if next year Kohu don't do nothing, wasted talent acquisition. If he's the same as last year, he just is what he is. If he's better than last year, we're headed in the right direction. And then you give me one more season, we officially develop somebody. Robert Hunt, nope. You can't tell me Robert Hunt. Now, don't get me wrong. Robert Hunt, like from a number standpoint, the grading has gotten better and better and better, but his baseline was already there. We were satisfied with Robert Hunt his rookie season. He was a guy flying under the radar, but we never mentioned him much because he was doing his job. Any little mistakes or mess ups he had, he a rookie. He ain't making those mistakes enough. He's having natural progression for his draft pick, where he belonged in the draft. That's natural progression. Now, if Robert Hunt was out here making Pro Bowls, now we could talk about we developed Robert Hunt. But right now, Robert Hunt is the good, solid player that he's supposed to be. I'm telling you, the man started making Pro Bowls and stuff. Now we're talking about he been developed because we turned a guy in a mid-round pick into a Pro Bowler. That wasn't his ceiling. Nobody when we drafted Robert Hunt said his ceiling was Pro Bowl. His ceiling was being a very good player, a solid player for years to come, and that's what he's been. So that ain't development. That's what you expected. We expect him to be good eventually, and that's what he is. So please understand what player development actually is. Take another guy, for example. Well, of course, he got to stay healthy. But if Tua has a successful season where he actually plays a little bit more consistent, because, guys, let's be honest, everybody's going to have a San Francisco game. Everybody's going to have a Chargers game. You see what I mean? They're going to have them, but you can't have a San Francisco, a Chargers, a Bengals, a Pittsburgh, a Patriots, a Green Bay. You can't have all those. Out of the 5 or 6 games, it was like, let me see. Let me make sure I get this right. Patriots, Bengals, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Chargers, Green Bay. Out of them 6 games, you got to cut that down to 3. And you don't want them back to back to back for sure. You definitely don't want them back to back to back. And if Tua could come out next year, play all the games and cut it down to about 3 games, not back to back, spread out here and there, now we're talking about real progression. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand he was a first-round pick, but that's a little skewed because of the injury and things of that nature. He had a lot that he was working from. So again, we got to stop thinking development can be determined off of one season. Somebody said Raekwon Davis. What about him? That's been a failure. That's one piece right there that could save a lot of our problems. I'm going to tell you what. See, this is where the Dolphins fail and none of y'all realize it. What if Raekwon Davis would have became that dog like Christian Wilkins, right? What will we be talking about right now? Nobody will be crying about Christian Wilkins. We'll be like, Zyler's just as good. Him next to Raekwon is just as good. Let's roll, trade Christian, and go get the haul. We wouldn't even be tripping. We wouldn't even be tripping. If Raekwon Davis was playing at what we hoped that he would be, we wouldn't be tripping. Strawbridge fell, Weaver fell. That ain't it. Let me name some of the names. Let me see if I can remember. There's some other names in the middle of that D-line that we failed on. There was one player from overseas that was in that overseas program too. Because I used to say his name a lot. What's his name, y'all? Remember the player from overseas? Trenches D-line? Interior? Please, somebody got my back. Somebody got my back right now. Man, what's his name? What's his name? Somebody gonna help me right now. So where my real Dolphin fans at there? Remember it all. Benito Jones. Thank you. Thank you. You see what I'm saying? We had a whole bunch of these guys that we wanted to develop and then take care of that. Whole bunch of them. Benito Jones. You see what I'm saying? But y'all, but as Dolphin fans, we got to realize where we slipped. And where we slipped are guys like Raekwon Davis. If he would have turned out and been that dude, we wouldn't be tripping by Christian Wilkins right now. We wouldn't. How are we supposed to develop talent when any criticism is seen as negative energy in the building? Great point. Great point. This is why I like the straight up approach. That's every player say about Flores. He never lied. He told you straight up the truth. And that's what I appreciate, his honesty. But now we got to coddle people and don't make them feel bad. And again, screw all that. Player development is where we will have an opportunity to potentially build a dynasty. Nito is the guy. Yeah, maybe Nito, but I know it was Nito, Benito or Nito. I remember. Okay. That's how Flores got fired. That's why I said what I said. That's why I said what I said. But again, this team is stricken from player development. That's part of the issue. That's part of the issue. Van Ginkel, Zyler all put in there. Zyler has been developed, but that was more so under the Flores regime. He actually took a little bit of a step back this year. It was still high, but it wasn't as high as it was with Flores. He was being developed under Flores, 2 nice seasons. So Van Ginkel, Zeeler, Nick Needham. I think that's it. Those 3 guys right now are examples of player development. Those 3 guys. Yep. Zeeler came from the Ravens, but was on their practice squad. Baker ain't been no developed. Baker finally had a good season. Yeah, you're right. Benito Jones was from Ole Miss. Durval Nito was the player that was developed from Brazil. Yes, you're right. Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate that big time. Phillips, what Phillips? What Phillips you talking about? Jalen Phillips? Ain't no player development happening right there. I'm still waiting on him to reach what he's supposed to be. Sorry, player development. I'm looking for him to reach where he's supposed to be. He ain't far, but he ain't there. Mm-mm. Waddle is exactly what he is supposed to be. Waddle is playing exactly, sixth overall pick. You're right where you're supposed to be. Supposed to be one of the better receivers in the NFL, especially at that position from day one. Jordan Phillips. Am I tripping? He ain't on this roster no more. What y'all talking about? Oh, I'm just talking about players on the roster. I ain't gonna lie, I did love Phillips. I was mad when we let him go. So 8.5 sacks isn't far. No. I mean, when did double digits stop being the standard at the defensive end position? 8.5 ain't far. I mean, you just want 10. You love just 10 plus sacks. Yeah. I mean, even Michael Parsons had 13.5 last year. The year before, 13. 8.5 sacks, good enough for me. Okay. Not me. No, I gotta definitely have higher standards than that for him. No. Let me see something. Yeah, I gotta have higher standards than 8.5, especially in a system that was conducive to it. Yeah, I need more than that. Sorry. I mean, where was Jalen Phillips drafted? What number again? Was it 16? Was it 16? Was he drafted 16th overall? I forgot. Let me see. 15th, I think. 18th, 8, believe. Let me just look it up. Sometimes y'all don't be knowing as much as me sometimes. 18th pick overall. So 6 picks after 6 picks after Michael Parsons. 6 picks after Michael Parsons. Nah, I need more. Sorry, I need more. I need more. Definitely need more. Jordan Phillips left the Cars and is with the Bills. Interesting. But yeah, you please don't be satisfied with 8.5 sacks for Jalen Phillips. Please. No. I mean, at the end of the day, you drafted this guy to be your next Cam Wake, your next hey, why am I running a blank on Jason Taylor? I mean, when you draft a guy in the first round at the defensive end position, you're looking for him to be the future. You're looking for him to carry the torch just like those guys did. And 8.5 ain't getting that done. No, I'm sorry. Somebody said Phillips will be even better this year. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know why this thing is saying 7 sacks. Y'all said 8.5. This thing, for some reason, is showing 7 sacks this year. And that's another thing. This is why I be saying that, man. We got to stop this, man. We got to demand greatness from these players. How can we really sit here and just be like, yeah, we straight. Yeah, we straight. 8.5 is good enough for me. Like, no, I want you to get 10 minimum. 10 minimum. And he ain't even had 8.5, man. He had 7.5, and that includes the playoffs he had to have. Jalen Phillips has 7.5 sacks this year. I don't know where the 8.5 came from. Even worse. What's interesting, though, I will say this. Here's what's interesting about Phillips. Phillips had a sack or half a sack in every game that we struggled in. I don't know what that means, but he had a sack or a half a sack in just about every game we struggled. The last Buffalo game, the Chargers game, San Francisco game, Houston game, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and that's it. Oh, in Minnesota. That's it. Nah, I ain't gonna say it's garbage time at all. Just saying. That's what I've noticed. Anyway, real quick, that's less than half a sack a game. And that's why I'm telling y'all, man, these people be satisfied. They be satisfied. And let me tell you something about them half sacks. Y'all know that in our system, them half sacks came off of the zero blitz. You shared a sack because all y'all was back there. They came off of zero blitz. PFF has him with 9 sacks because PFF actually doesn't do the half thing. PFF doesn't do the halves. I think that's what that is when it comes to PFF. They don't do the halves. At least I don't think so. I think that's the reason why they have him at 9. As a matter of fact, I can test that theory right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that's why he'll have 9 because PFF gives you a full sack instead of half. They give you full credit. And if I'm giving him full credit for the halves, because he got 1, 2, 3, 4 half sacks. He got 4 half sacks. Okay. Wow, the Falcons just traded for Jeff Okuda just now. Wow. That's dope. That's dope. Wow. For a 5th round pick. It's tough. Lions give up on cornerback Jeff Okudah, 3rd pick of 2020 draft. Trade him to Falcons. Man, that's a good opportunity for Atlanta. Maybe a new scenery will help them. Maybe it'll help him. He was in my top 8. He was definitely in my top 8. Okudah was. Moving on. All right, real quick. Switching gears to the last topic that I have on here, McDaniel tampering. McDaniel was not tampering, ladies and gentlemen, but he was laughing and having a good time with Aaron Darnold at the fight over the weekend. Now, there was an NFL section where NFL players and all of that were allowed to be, so they were going to be in the same section. They had a good giggle. They shared some laughs and joking with each other. Some people are already, Aaron Darnold getting traded to Miami and all that good stuff. Now, hey, I'll take that. You want to trade Christian Wilkins for Aaron Darnold and give away your 2nd round pick? How about that? I give away my 2nd round pick and Christian Wilkins. I'll do that. I would do that. Would y'all? Would y'all do it? Now, I know he's 31, but y'all wouldn't do it? Keep dreaming. Well, I got to be dreaming. Because he had one of his least productive years this year. It's what the Dolphins do. They got Jalen Ramsey. Y'all raving about that. Is it because he only had 5 sacks? But it's the interior, though, right? Ramsey is washed too. Man, I don't care what none of y'all say. If you going for it now, I'm going to get Aaron Darnold. I'm sending Christian Wilkins. Y'all go ahead and give him that big money. I'm going to get Aaron Darnold because, I mean, what, he going to play 2 years maybe? He on his way out, but you'll be getting off of it soon. Just like the window of all the rest of these players. Now, I know he got hurt. Yeah, he still had more sacks than any of our interior linemen, even though he got hurt. Wilkins, that dude in Miami. Yeah, he is. But again, it's going to come at a cost. Yeah. That'd be nasty, man. Fangio's system would need it. Fangio's system would need something like that. I'm telling y'all, man, it's night and day. Not just a run stopper, but a pass. He's everything you want in an interior lineman. Everything you want. I would never trade Christian Wilkins. Yeah, we know Steven. We know Steven. You good with it. See, this is what I'm talking about. You wouldn't trade Christian Wilkins for a better player. You wouldn't trade Christian Wilkins for. See, the problem, here's the problem, y'all. There's a lot of Dolphin fans that even if Aaron Darnold was 27 right now, they wouldn't trade Christian Wilkins straight up for Aaron Darnold. And this is the mentality of a lot of Dolphin fans, and they wonder why They wonder why we continue to deal with what we deal with. You would trade any player for a better player. If you a real team fan, who wouldn't? You're forgetting. If you're a real fan, it's about the logo, not the player. You know how you can't tell somebody how to fan? I'm sorry. This is one fan rule that needs to be universal, and it is what it is. Nobody is untouchable if you got an opportunity to upgrade the position, especially at the same price. Cost you nothing more. A swap for a swap. Man, come on. Now, age is a factor in things like that. I get it. But I'm talking about if all things were equal, that shows you the type of fan you are. Any real fan of any organization, football, basketball, baseball, whatever, if you can trade a player and upgrade the position and it don't cost you no more, you do it because you want the logo to win, not a player. If Aaron Darnold got us a better chance to win a Super Bowl than Christian Wilkins, what loyalty do I owe Christian Wilkins? I appreciate you being a Dolphin, and I support you, but I'm sorry. If we can be better, bye. Talking about, man, we're talking about a player that you only see once every 10 years, maybe. The caliber player. Is Wilkins the heart of this defense? It doesn't matter if he was. You brought Aaron Donald in, he going to be the heart, the brain, the legs, the arms, the chest, the buttocks, genitals, toes, belly button, whatever, the earlobes, whatever you need him to be. What we talking about? Is he the heart? The heart is one part of the body. Aaron Donald is the whole human of the defense. Oh, man. Darnold at the end and Wilkins the start, so that has to be a factor. He might be gone next year. Listen. Y'all need to stop. Christian Wilkins ain't even come close to Aaron Darnold's start. Aaron Darnold started at the gate. That dude. Y'all better stop. Y'all better stop. Talk about the beginning and the end. Remember, we're in a window. I'm trying to tell y'all in 2026, 2027, 2028, I don't care what talent you got on this team. They just going to be here getting paid. We going to be trying to get our books back right. There is a high probability that in 2026, we will not have a better roster than 2023. In 2027, we will not have a better roster than 2023. Just saying, man. I'm just saying. I mean, come on, man. Y'all got to look at it like this. Christian Wilkins has been in the NFL for 4 years. And in 4 years, he got 11 and a half sacks. Now, I know the interior D linemen don't typically get sacks, but in 4 years, he got 11 and a half sacks. You want to know what Aaron Darnold's first 4 years was? How many sacks he had? 39. 39. 4 years, 39 versus 11 and a half. Now, oh, well, that was early in his prime. Well, guess what? Let's take away Aaron Donald's first 4 years. Let's go to his next 4 years, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8. The man had 59 sacks. The next 4 years, he had 59 sacks. The first 4 years, he had 39. The next 4 years, he had 59. Christian Wilkins out here 11 and a half in 4 years, and y'all talk about you would keep Christian Wilkins. Y'all need to stop. Aaron Darnold last year, when he got hurt, but he had 5 sacks. Christian Wilkins ain't had a season where he had more than he ain't had 5 yet. He ain't had 5 yet. Man out here on the interior of the line with more production than defensive ends. And y'all talk about, never mind, let me stop. Because then y'all making it seem like this is why it makes it seem like I'm beating up on Christian Wilkins, and I ain't beating up on little Christian. I ain't beating up on Christian. I'm just keeping it a buck of what it is. Oh my gosh. Miami Sports Music says, so example, Donald to the Dolphins. For Wilkins, second round, you have to pay either person at the top of their position. Yeah, I get that, but once again, not Aaron Darnold. You got a shorter term deal. You got a shorter term deal with Aaron Darnold. You're only trying to have him for the window. That's it. You just want Aaron Darnold for the window. Aaron Darnold ain't out here signing 6-year deals. Right now, he on a 3-year deal. And he got 2 years left of it. This year, he's a $26 million cap hit. Next year, 34. And he got voidable years on his contract at the end that we wouldn't even have to worry about because the Rams got to pay that. But you get those years to where you can spread it out if you want. They ain't going to get rid of Aaron Darnold. Let's get that straight now. I doubt that would ever happen. But if they did, it'll be the most team-friendly contract you got because basically you'll be paying him $60 million, but you can spread it out in 4 years however you want. You got 4 years to spread it out. As long as he get his $60 million for 2 years. You're just having him for 2 years. You got to pay $60 million, but the way the contract's set up, you get 4 years to spread it out. But they wouldn't trade him. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Man, that would be, I ain't gonna lie to you though. That would be game changing. Now I got faith in the organic pass rush. Now I would have instant faith in the organic pass rush. I ain't got no faith in this D-line right now with the organic pass rush. They ain't been able to show that in 3 years. Not a single person on this roster been able to show. Ain't a single person on this roster other than Chubb. But let's even wipe him out because ain't a single person on this roster as a Dolphin has shown an organic pass rush at a successful high clip. Not a single person on this D-line has showed an organic pass rush with success. About what? Ogba ain't showed nothing either. Even when he put the numbers up, it was in Flores' system where we ran the zero blitz. And Ogba was eating. Everybody was eating under Flores' zero blitz. Javon Holland was eating. Brandon Jones was eating. Jerome Baker was eating. Emmanuel Ogba was eating. All of them was eating. Van Ginkel was eating. If Christian Wilkins get traded, don't be shocked. I feel like we got one of those in us this year, y'all. One of those, what is Greer doing? Even though it would be the right thing to do. It would be the right thing to do. Oh man, I think Phillips was getting there. Dude was held about every play, TD. Every defensive end held every play. You don't think Aaron Darnold getting held? I bet you Aaron Darnold getting held way more than Jalen Phillips. It don't matter though. If you that dude, it don't matter. Matter of fact, if you that dude, you forcing them to throw the flag. You beating them so bad and they holding you so bad that it's egregious. They gotta throw it. If you that dude, you that dude. Everybody get held in the NFL. It's just a level of how much you're allowed to get away with. And Jalen Phillips, he got to become that beast to where he forces the refs to not let him get away with the opponents to get away with nothing. I told y'all Jalen Phillips is the prime example of he almost there. I don't even know how to make him improve though. I don't want him bulked up anymore because it may make his release a little slower. And he can't bulk up enough to become a powerful Aaron Darnold. You know, he just got to keep on keeping that motor moving and just being just trying to get hurries and let it fall where it may. You'll be a good player for years to come, but reaching that elite status will be very hard for Jalen Phillips. Yeah, that's where I kind of disagree, Big Mike. It's like we got players on our team that are really good, but they can't be elite. You can already see they don't have the elite bug in them. They could be really good, but I don't see the elite bug. Christian Wilkins, really good, but not elite. When you compare to elite, Aaron Darnold, you see what I mean? Javon Holland, really good he could be, but I don't see the elite in him. Brandon Jones, good, but I don't see him getting to elite. Jalen Phillips could be really good, but I don't see him reaching elite. And remember, elite is top 2, 3, if you want to stretch it 4 at your position. Harlan got snubbed. Why? Because he was good for the Dolphins? He ain't a top 3 player at the position in the league. Like, yeah, like I don't know why we think because they a Dolphin, they get to skip the line. But Holland is no, we just hype Holland up so much. Why? I get it. He's made a lot of plays for us, but a lot of them plays were in Flores' system where everybody made plays. Do y'all know we blitz Holland and Brandon Jones more than almost any safeties in the NFL? And what did that amount to? More sacks, more tackles, more hurries, more pressures. We got a lot of these kind of players. Robert Hunt, he could be really good, but he'll never be elite. It's just what we have. And right now, if you notice, I'm kind of naming all the players that we drafted, not the ones like Armstead, because we just bought it. Not Connor, we bought him. Not Tyreek, we bought him. I'm talking about the players we drafted. Like, and goes back to what I was trying to tell y'all. When are we going to draft elite players? Elite. Draft. Waddle ain't elite. I don't know why y'all gotta understand that. He not elite. He's a great player. Like, and on top of it, some of these guys y'all calling elite got limitations. Waddle ain't elite. You can say that all you want. Let me know when he makes an all-pro team. Let me know when he's a first-team all-pro. Then we'll talk elite. The day you become a first-team all-pro, nobody going to argue whether or not you're elite. Y'all fail to realize when you get into that definition of elite, it means you are elite. You're on a stature. You're the best of the best at your position. Everybody can't be in it. Where is the cutoff? And typically, one rule of thumb in the NFL, where you cut it off is all pro. Because there's nothing better than elite. Elite is the premier. So if you're a first team all pro, is Waddle a first team all pro? If he not, you go find the first team all pros, and there go your elite guys. You're not finna sit here and tell me that Jalen Waddle is on the level of Justin Jefferson. You're not finna sit here and tell me Jalen Waddle is on the level of Tyreek Hill. Stop. Just because he a Dolphin, stop. We having real conversation, football talk here. Not your feelings talk because you're a Dolphin fan and he a Dolphin. Our 80s defense, none was elite. Yep. No name defense. We had Taylor, Thomas, Bowens, Madison, Surtain, Brock, Gardner. They played for each other as a core defense. Yeah, but I'm the main person that's been saying for years, give me a roster full of 7 and 8s instead of 3 10s and a whole bunch of 6s. I'll take that all day. Give me a roster full of 7 and 8s. Instead of a few 10s and then a whole bunch of 6s. Take it all day, man. That's my mix. But once again, man, there is a cutoff. Somebody said rookie record. What? I mean, listen, who cares about some rookie record? Where your NFL records? Give me your first 3-year records, your first 4-year records. Now we talking. Yeah, I don't care that Herbert set rookie records. You still got to see, again, the rookie records you set, in my opinion, don't matter if it ain't a record in that season with the normal, just because you're a rookie. But Herbert's rookie year was still on the level of the elite quarterbacks in the league. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, we got a roster of young guys, and none of these guys are elite. None of them are elite. Y'all got to stop thinking top 10 is elite. Top 10 ain't elite. Top 2, 3, and maybe we can stretch it to 4 depending on the position. If it's tight end, there's only one of them on the field, we ain't going to 4. We just going top 2. Those are your elite tight ends. That's how it works. Centers, same thing. Top 2. Those guys are elite. It's only one on the field. Wide receiver, you look at the 2. You always base it off of 2 per team. So that's 64 players. $64 players, man. You got to be top 3 or 4 to be talking about elite. It's the best of the best in the league. We're not going to quartile it out and say the top 15 are all elite in the NFL. The top 15. Come on, man. Nah, I don't see Diggs as elite either. I don't. Really good. Really good. But I'm sorry, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, whole different animals right there. Whole different animals. Totally different animals, man. Them 2 guys elite. AJ Brown close, man. He right there on that. I ain't gonna lie. In my opinion, AJ Brown right there on that cusp. Like he's on that cusp. Jamar Chase right there on that cusp. If he not just it. For me, again, that don't make me right. This is just the way I view things. It's the way I view things. Yeah. So right now in the NFL, though, if I had to give you the top 3 wide receivers for me, number 1, I'm going to go Justin Jefferson. Number 2, I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Number 3, this one's, I got to go. I have to. This is just me. I'm not just going off of last year. I'm going their career so far. I got to put Cooper Kupp up there. I mean, what this guy's done. Devontae Adams would be my 4. AJ Brown will probably be my 5. Chase right now would be my 6. Then we're talking about Diggs being my 7. Devontae Adams clears Kupp. Yeah, I mean, he may clear Kupp. I just still can't get off of what Kupp did in 22. I still can't just get off of that. How is Brown that high? Are you kidding me? How is AJ Brown that high? Is that a joke? Debo, not so. He's a little further down. Remember, he's an all-around player to me, too. He's more of the athlete. A lot of them guys, man, whether y'all don't realize, guys like Debo, I feel like those are guys that round their routes and stuff like that. Yeah, AJ Brown helped Philly. But again, we could play musical chairs with a few of these guys. I mean, it ain't a direct science. I see what you're saying. Like right now, I could see where you'll put Adams and Cup behind him and all that. I ain't, but my point of the matter is I've been past the elite. AJ Brown just misses the elite. Chase just misses it, but on his way there. You see what I'm saying? Cooper Kupp, he's like right on that line to me. Him and Devontae Adams right on. Well, Adams elite. Adams is elite. Okay. So I see what you're saying because Kupp is on that line to me, so, and Adams is elite. So right now I will put Adams ahead of Kupp. I see what you mean. So I would have Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Adams, elite, and them guys right there on that edge. Your Jamar Chase, your AJ Brown, your Cooper Kupp, those guys right on the edge. And that's how I have it. Now, people talk about Jalen Waddle. Even if I kept going down this list, Jalen Waddle don't even crack the top 10. Jalen Waddle don't crack the top 10. And that may be him being a victim of playing with a Tyreek, maybe. But no, man. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. If I had to rank it, I would put Garrett Wilson over him. Get mad all you want. Garrett Wilson did just about the exact same thing with no quarterback. I got Waddle 11th. How about that? I'll put Waddle 11th. Matter of fact, let me qualify it. Justin Jefferson 1. Tyreek, Adams. Adams. Okay, I got those 3. Stephon Diggs better than Waddle. AJ Brown is better than Waddle. Cooper Kupp is better than Waddle. Keenan Allen is better than Waddle. I gotta remember receivers. I got Garrett Wilson ahead of Waddle. What's that kid in Detroit? Because when I did my power rankings, I had him higher than Waddle. There's a kid in Detroit. His name is weird. It's got a dash in it or something. Brown or something. His name Brown. It's something with Brown. Amon-Ra, yes. He's better than Waddle. Get mad all you want. He is. I said Garrett Wilson already. Mike Evans. I'm going to hold off on Mike Evans because Mike Evans, I see where you can say he better, but I'm just not going to go there yet. Right now, I got him in the same. Mike Evans done turned into a high point guy. CeeDee Lamb is better than Waddle. I'm 9 in right now. Dang, what's that kid? Drake in Atlanta. There's a kid named Drake in Atlanta. I got him better than Waddle. And then I'll put Waddle at 11. And there's a lot of people you can name that can be debated. You got the kid in New Orleans, Olav, however you say his name. Devontae Smith. You got Cooper, Amari Cooper. Then you start talking about the Mike Williams and all of that. Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Lockett. Waddle with all of them. Them like 7 people I just named, 8 people. Waddle's in the mix with all of them. I ain't even mentioned DK Metcalf, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up a power ranking. I'm gonna see what anybody else say. Let me see. Matter of fact, let's do this. PFF, they got rankings too. Let's see what they got. PFF this year, Tyreek Hill #1 on PFF. I had Justin Jefferson. Amon-Ra is #2 on PFF. I had him at like 7 or 8 on my list, but he's #2 on PFF. Justin Jefferson #3 makes sense if it ain't gonna be Tyreek. Devontae Adams is 4. Stephon Diggs is 5. AJ Brown is 6. Like I said, Amari Cooper is 7, ahead of him. CeeDee Lamb is 8. Like I said, is ahead of him. Keenan Allen, who most of y'all were like, "Nah, you're tripping." Keenan Allen is 9, is ahead of him. Jamar Chase is ahead of him. They ain't Chase at 10. I would have had Chase around 5 or something. London Drake and Atlanta is at 11. Dang, Waddle ain't yet. Garrett Wilson at 12. I told y'all. Jalen Waddle, there you go. He had 13. And he barely ahead of Chris Olave. So PFF got Jalen Waddle #13. Smith Waddle. Let me see who else they got at the Waddle. Chris Olave, Amari Cooper, like I said, Devontae Smith, all them guys in that area. Terry McLaurin, I don't follow him much. I need to check out who that is. I like his game. I ain't watching much Washington. That's why. Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. That's what Waddle with all them guys. All them guys. Somebody said Waddle still #7 in yards. Yeah. See, that's Dolphin fans. Pick a stat. He's 7th. That's what he is. Leave it to Dolphin fans, boy. Well, he was 7th in yards. Oh, okay. Well, he was 7th in yards. He was 7th in yards. That's fine. That is fine. What was he in touchdowns? I'm just curious. I'm sure he was real big in yards per catch as well. What was he in drops? I'm just asking. But yeah, man, Terry McLaurin is the truth. I don't follow him much. Anyway, man, I done went over my 2 hours that I was gonna do, man. Yeah, I'm gonna look into him. But like I said, guys, we got a whole bunch of really good players that ain't elite. Like most teams have an elite guy, like a few elite guys that they drafted. We don't have elite guys that we tend to draft. Not the Miami Dolphins. We got a whole bunch of players that are really good, but not elite, not the top in their position. Like one day we'll draft a guy and be like, this guy right here is top 2 in the position, best in the league. Yes, that's what you do with a first round pick. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Fins up no matter what. I'll come back to y'all later tonight, maybe. I got some projects to do with my sons. Got to build a robot or something tonight. But appreciate y'all coming through. Fins up no matter what. Thank y'all so much. I'll check y'all soon. Peace. I am out.